Hey guys, how are you doing today? So, it's me, Leah. Today I'm actually going to be talking about what it means to be non-binary. To me, this is not meaning that everyone has the same opinion as me, and I really want to make that clear because everyone does have different opinions, and I don't want people to think that my opinion is the only opinion. First off, I wanted to talk to you about how I found out I was non-binary. At first, I would identify as androgynous, but a lot of people don't really like androgyny to be an identity, more of a style. So people who say they're androgynous typically just dress in very gender neutral or feminine, masculine clothes or look. Actually, the word non-binary, if you Google it, it actually means not relating to, composed of, or involving just two things, which I thought was kind of cool. So I was just going to share that with you. So when a lot of people, if they say I'm non-binary, it could also mean, like I said, genderqueer, gender fluid. They're all very similar. Whenever I was trying to figure out what I identify best as, I realized that I identify best as non-binary, which for me it means that I don't really identify as just one gender. I don't mind pronouns. I don't mind being called they, them, she, or him pronouns. All of them are fine with me. But I do know that's a little bit unique to me. Another thing is that I also would consider myself trans non-binary, which means that I would like to be on hormones like testosterone. I was born female. I would like to be on testosterone because I think that would make me more comfortable. I have been thinking about it for several months, and even over the span of my life, I just feel like that would make me more comfortable, but I'm scared of how everyone around me is going to take it. So that makes me terrified to talk to people about it because I don't want them to judge me or think that I'm going off the deep end, like most people would say. If you show up to your family's house and they don't know you're on testosterone and you haven't seen it for a while and suddenly your voice is deeper and you changed, and they're just like, why did first you're gay, now this, you know what I mean? It just comes off as it's too much. And I never really wanted to make things complicated for anyone. I always wanted to make things simple because I felt like the simpler I was, the easier it was for people to understand me and also not get too frustrated with me or think that I was completely crazy or losing my mind. Whenever I first found out I was non-binary, it was actually quite an odd thing. I took it first off as, well, it's probably something I am, but it doesn't matter because it's not going to change anything about me as an individual. But then as time started going on, I really started to research more about non-binary and what it meant and how I felt. And I realized that basically non-binary is the gender that I identify as most. It's things that are starting to change. So first, how I realized I was non-binary was that I was having some really hard times dealing with my body, which then made me realize that I have body dysphoria, slight gender dysphoria. And of course, as you guys have seen in my past posts or videos, I am also struggling with eating disorder, various different types. I realized that a lot of the things I don't like about my body is the feminine parts of it. I don't like my chest, and I also don't like my hips. And I understand that for most people, maybe that they look at that as being fat, but my hips are not that big. When I wear feminine stuff and I see myself as feminine, sometimes I'm okay with it, but lately I haven't been. That doesn't mean that I don't like anything feminine. I still like feminine things. I love pastel stuff. I love makeup. There's a lot of things that I like that are feminine, but there's so many things I like that are masculine too. I started to experiment with growing out body hair, and I never would have seen myself ever growing out body hair, but I grew out my body hair and I didn't shave it, and I was fine with it, which was completely weird. I never thought I'd be okay with that, but I do feel like I probably will continuously shave just for my fiance's sake. I do like to shave, but I thought it was interesting that it didn't bother me when I thought it would. Would like to not have such a feminine body because it bothers me a little bit. I don't see myself the way I want to see myself. I think I have a really perfect, beautiful mind and soul, but I do not love my body, and I hate that. Some other things that I wanted to talk to you guys about, like some signs of being non-binary. Like, I have no issues with the bottom part of my body. Like, I don't want to have bottom surgery, and I also don't want to have any of my feminine body parts removed, like organs, I mean. Top surgery I actually would consider, but that would only depend on if I cannot reach a certain cup size, and then I would consider getting top surgery if I can't get as flat as I like. Currently, I'm not okay with my chest size. It's a work in progress. So my steps right now to helping myself with this identity is I'm going to start seeing a therapist. I'm going to maybe see a specialist on body or gender dysphoria. I'm hoping to talk to them about it and kind of figure out if these are the right decisions for me, because of course I've started making a lot of choices that could change my future, but I don't want to change everything overnight. I want to give it time. For instance, you guys probably know me as Cassidy or Cass, and that's fine. You can still call me Cass, and like I said, you can use any pronouns. I don't care. Many people ask, do I have a preference? I don't know yet. I'm still experimenting. So far, I do like being called, I think that it's like if I'm dressed as masculine, I like to be called male pronouns, or they, them. But if I'm dressed feminine, I like to be called more feminine pronouns, because, you know, there are different days depending on how I dress. But most of the time I dress like in between or more masculine. That's just lately, but depends on the day. Of course, getting on hormones is going to be a big step, so I'm going to talk to my therapist when I get one about that to make sure that that's what I want to do. Another thing I want to do is possibly change my name. So on my social media, this account right here is my personal Instagram I created not too long ago. It's cass.malachi, and I am going to try to start changing my name to Malachi. You guys don't have to call me Malachi if you don't want to, but it is a name that I'm going to start hopefully going by. Basically what I'm trying to do is, if you know me personally and you are used to calling me Cassie or Cassidy or Cass, I would prefer you call me Cass. Those of you who aren't used to calling me that on a daily basis, please, if you could refer to me as Malachi, I'd be really happy. And like I said before, I don't mind which pronouns you use. All are completely okay with me. The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is, how do you know if you are non-binary? The most important thing that you need to know is you're not going to wake up one day and be like, oh my gosh, I'm non-binary. Like, I just had an epiphany. It doesn't happen that way. Typically, you will know you're non-binary in little trickles over time. Like, it's a gradual thing. The first time I started thinking I was is because I heard about what non-binary was. It was actually really funny. Last year at Pride, I had a gender fluid, it's basically gender fluid, non-binary, gender queer, but it's a flag. Anyway, I got this flag and it was thrown at me, and I was like, why did I get this? And I feel like it was just like God was just like hits you in the face with a flag. Dude, you're genderqueer. Because like I got this flag and I was like, why the hell do I have a gender fluid flag? And it's so funny because that was before I even knew I was, and it wasn't like I did anything. I literally took the flag home and I put it in a box. Then never looked at it again until just recently, and now it's like my favorite thing ever. Like, I turn it into a skirt and I wear it all the time. Like, I love it. It's the most precious gift I've ever had thrown in my face before. I just love it. For me, it took time. I started noticing that, especially with my eating disorder, I did not like my hips or my boobs, and I really wish I could remove them, and I was having really, really bad thoughts about this. And then from there, I started realizing that, you know, I really want to be masculine, more masculine, and I started like doing a little bit of tests to see on how I react to certain changes. So one thing I did was I experimented by not shaving for a really long time, and then I also took T boosters, and I felt amazing. Another thing is the name change. It doesn't bother me either. It actually makes me feel happy, almost as if I'm adopting a new part of myself, discovering a new part of myself that was always just locked away, which is why I don't want to get rid of my name, Cass. I just want to also have another name that makes me feel comfortable, that also helps with my identity. Other steps I noticed were how do I feel about male pronouns. I actually really liked it. I don't know why, but I did. Probably because I identify with masculine pronouns. Another thing that started happening was because I didn't like having my breasts, for some reason I just really wanted them gone. I actually started taking out all the pads of my bralette. So literally every bralette I own has no pads in it. So that's something I started doing, which is a little strange, but I just don't like pads in them because it makes me feel like they're bigger than they really are, and I don't like that. They also can work as binders for those of you who want to wear binders, but your parents don't want you to, or you can't afford one. You can get like really tight. If you live in the United States, I do know that you can go to like Ross, and they have some pretty cheap sport bras. Well, they're like bralettes. But my favorite is Calvin Klein, which theirs are really awesome because they're not padded, and they can really bind you pretty flat if you're below a B cup. If you're above a B cup, I don't know. It's hard to say, but it still could help. If you do want a binder, I get all mine from Underworks. So Underworks is literally amazing. I have like 3 from there, and they're amazing. Other changes that I've gone through is I had my nails done for almost 2 years. I never had them like this. And in the video I made of the non-binary video I made, when I took off my nails, that was the last time I'd ever wear them. So that was a big change for me. Obviously I shaved my head, which was something that I felt I wanted to do. I was happy about it. I still am. It's just shocking to me because I never would have imagined like a year ago that I'd ever shave my head. Like I would have laughed. You'll understand, like it'll be small things over time, and suddenly you'll start feeling things more and more as the days go on. But the most important thing you need to remember is to talk to someone about it and seek help. Like, talk to a therapist, see somebody about it. I know that not everyone's family is going to be supportive because I have the same issue. You know, I have some family members that are super supportive and on board. I have some family members that are just like, what the hell are you doing? People nowadays, if you're not this average type person, you know, especially for me, because when I was growing up, you know, I always wanted to be average. I wanted to be a people pleaser. I wanted everyone to think I was great, happy, pretty, all these things. I always felt like I was weird, that I was abnormal, and I always felt like everyone saw me as the freak. But one thing I had was that I looked really pretty if I put effort into myself. Really pretty girl. So that was why I started dressing really feminine, because I loved that I looked pretty. And to this day, I still like looking feminine. It's just that at one point in my life, I was like, this is just part of me. It's not all of me. It's just like half of me. But why do I not feel whole? And why do I hate my body? Like, how is it that I love my soul so much? I love my soul, I love my spirit, I love my personality, but I hate my body. Like, how is that? And it's a problem. It really is a problem, and I struggle with it really, really badly. And so I need to learn to not only just love my soul, but to love my body too, which is why I am in recovery for body and gender dysphoria and eating disorder. And so far, I'm starting to feel really good about it. The changes are making me feel really positive. And the fact that you guys are supporting me makes me almost cry, because I wasn't expecting you guys to be supportive as you are. Like, I really wasn't. I was expecting you guys to think I was a freak. You know, on my SOOO account, I had tons of people unfollowing me because I think they were like, what the hell, I'm unfollowing this girl. She's lost her, you know, her sanity. It kind of hurt me a little bit at first, but then I was like, I don't care. And that was why I created the Malachi blog, because I feel like I can be more real with you guys there, because a lot of people on my SOOO account have been on there for like squillions of years since I first created the account, and I kind of wanted another account where I could be more honest and also more personal. Obviously, because social media has been a big part of my life, I want you guys to know how I'm doing and how I feel about things. I will continue to post my journey on here. I just had a few more things I wanted to talk to you guys about. For those of you who think that you are non-binary, or you are, and you don't know how to come out to your family or friends, I want to talk to you guys about something very important, and that is the difference between conditional love and unconditional love. Because this year I have been really struggling with, you know, identifying. I'm afraid that people are going to disown me for doing something that they don't like. Because with conditional love, you have obviously conditions. Like, you have to act and portray yourself a certain way for people to love you. And if you don't do A, B, C, D, E, then they're not going to love you, they're not going to accept you, they're going to say hateful things to you. It's a really damaging relationship. If someone loves you unconditionally, they will love you no matter what. And that means they love you for who you are and what you are and everything that you are. If you're going through a hard time, they're going to be there for you. They're not just going to write you off because you're just confusing or you're a mess or you're weird, because there's so many times where I feel like I'm just completely losing my mind, that I'm crazy, and it gets me anxious. It's super anxious, and I'm sure that's why I have really bad anxieties, because I'm always constantly thinking, what does this person think about me? What does this person think about me? Do they think I'm weird? Are they judging me? Are they looking at me? Like, I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I constantly feel that way. I'm always trying to people please, and it gets to the point where you're just absolutely exhausted, because you're just like, I'm so tired of having to pretend so that other people like me. You know, dressing super feminine because that's how people liked me to look, because that's what I look best as. You know, trying to have big boobs, big butt, the whole social media, the whole celebrity thing on, like, your body should look like this if you want to be the most popular, beautiful person. I'm just tired of it. It drives me nuts. Do not associate yourself with people who have conditional love for you. Associate yourself with people who have unconditional love for you, because if there are conditions for someone's love, it's not real love at all. In fact, they say that it's more like hatred. They use you is what it really comes down to, is they're just using you. So surround yourself with people who have unconditional love for you. And if you don't have that many people, then I will be praying that you have a huge group of people. You'll find them. Just, you know, go to cons, go to conventions. Anime conventions have some of the best people you'll ever meet. So that's a really good place to go to. It's a great community. That's honestly where I feel like I've gotten help the most, from the cosplay community. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means a whole lot to me to have your support, because going through this and trying to recover and trying to figure out who I am and what is, you know, most comfortable for me, what makes me feel like me, it's difficult. And, you know, a lot of people do judge you. I'm tired of people saying that people who are non-binary are aliens, are freaks, are, special snowflakes, that they're not actual people. And one thing I really do want to encourage you guys, if you are non-binary and you are like me and you identify as both male and female, and you feel like you are, you know, comfortable with both genders, there's a lot of differences. Like, you might decide, hey, I don't want to have any hormones or top surgery or bottom surgery. I don't want anything. I just am non-binary. That's completely fine. There are also people who are non-binary who are what I call trans non-binary, where you do have part transition to make you more comfortable, because some people, they're non-binary, but they would like to have more masculine features to themselves than feminine. I would say that that's how I am. I'm a really feminine person. There's so much so much femininity. I have so much femininity. Okay, I give up. But yeah, I have so much of that, but not too many masculine qualities of myself that I really want. Just remember, there are a lot of different things that you will notice if you're non-binary, things that you want. Don't ever assume that every non-binary person you meet is the same. Just remember that if you are non-binary, that do not neglect the gender you were born as. Because that's the main picture I've noticed, is that everyone who's non-binary or gender fluid, if they're born, especially female, because I don't even know if I've met someone yet that's born male who's non-binary. There may have been, but I don't know them well. But the people that I do know well that are non-binary were born female, and I've noticed that a lot of people in that have that identity. They want to completely forget their feminine side, and I just want you guys to remember that it's important to love who you were born as well. Don't be ashamed that you were born female. I've had a lot of people ask me, were you born a girl or a boy? And just flat out. And I don't get offended by it. I think it's actually kind of funny, because I'm like, that's a funny conversation starter. And a lot of times they'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I've been thinking about it for so long, I just wanted to know. And I'm completely like, yeah, it's completely fine that you want to know. I was born female. I'm not ashamed of it. I want you guys to know that you don't have to be ashamed that you're born the gender you were born as. If you're non-binary or gender fluid, then if you're like me, you identify as both gender, you know, female and male, and it's okay to accept yourself as being female and as being male. I feel like a lot of people get offended because they feel like they're not making any progress because people keep calling them a female, and they don't, at the time they're like, no, I really want my masculine side to show more because I'm tired of being this feminine person all the time. I want to be seen as they, them, or male, and I want people to know, to understand that it's okay. Like, don't hate that feminine part of yourself. It makes you feel like you're not non-binary or that people don't respect you, because over time they will. And hopefully, if you have those unconditional love type people in your life. But yeah, you're gonna get questions like that, and I'm trying to help those because I want people to understand that you should love your body if you're born male or female. Like, I feel like over years and time, like, you'll become more comfortable with both genders once you become fully comfortable with your body. I have noticed a lot of people they don't like to even talk about what gender they are born as, and I'm trying to help them understand that it is important. You should love yourself. I'm probably just gonna end it there because I've lost my mind trying to record this. But I'll keep you guys updated on things that are happening. I just wanted to give a huge thanks to all of you guys who have been there for me and who have supported me and Leah. It means so much to me. I will link my username. This is my new account. I mean, I still use Saucerillion, but not as much as this one. This is the cas.malachi, and it's spelled Malachi spelled M-A-L-A-C-H-I, so it's like Malachi. Anyway, it's pronounced Malachi, and I'll give you guys more details as to why I chose that name later on. For now, I just want to thank you guys once again for always being there, supporting us, watching our videos. I will post as many new videos as I can soon. I just haven't had time because I've been dealing with all this crap. But thank you guys for being there for me and being supportive. You're awesome. Alright, bye guys.